for people to be a little bit different sometimes.
This is some bullshit.
Resident Alien, it takes all of your, I think, talents and brings them together, like this great sense of humor, but sort of this sort of sarcastic edge to it. So many different things. I mean, could you sort of talk about finding this character, because it's so much the physicality, the diction, everything. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think I found it first through the physicality. It is there's a lot of technical aspects to the role on one side, because he's taking over a body, or he's recreated a human body for himself, and he's learning to use it. So he has to figure out how to make not just the language, but how to make the physiology of a mouth work. So he has to go through that process. And then even when he gets the language down, it's not as natural as he would hope it would be, because he's creating each word and manipulating the teeth, tongue, cheeks, breath flow. He's having a technical experience navigating this world. And so that's part of the approach. And physicality, moving, is almost like he's puppeteering this whole body. So that's fun. I mean, it's tricky, but then it becomes just eating a chili dog, not a corn dog, but a chili dog can then become like funny. Because you've never seen one before.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
there is a killer out there. Okay, we need to do an autopsy.
Do you mean cut into the body and pulled out the organs autopsy?
Yes, that kind. Yeah, the pass got snowed in last night, and the coroner won't come until the road's clear. But lucky for us, the man who used to run the pathology lab at Rutgers lives in town.
Well, don't call that guy. I'll do the autopsy.
That guy's you. I looked you up. You ran the lab at Rutgers.
Of course I ran the lab. I knew that. I was making a joke. I'm a very funny person.
Okay, good.
I mean, at that bowling alley scene, well, that scene, but just him learning, the whole learning montage is just unbelievably funny, because you're just like, these are things we take for granted, but it starts to show his humanity even in that.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, just trying to chase down your hand. It's things that, we all figure out when we're babies. The hands that, they put mittens on our hands so we don't scratch ourselves, because we can't control them and we don't know what these things are. That he's just stepped into this world with a full-grown human body, and he's going through the same thing. I wish we had done mittens. That would have been really really good. That he could have to wear mittens so he didn't scratch himself.
Okay, well, I gotta go, but you've got this, okay?
Max? Max! Hey! Let me in the car.
well, going to that, I mean, his idea of what humanity or just the right thing to do is completely off from ours, which makes him so refreshing. But it also, puts him in such awkward situations. Could you talk about loving that form of it? Because in the doctor's office, there's so many sequences where it's just like, oh my God, is he really going to do that? Yes, he does. So could you talk about that and finding that that awkwardness in him too? Or is it just inherent?
Well, so much of it is in the writing. Chris Sheridan, who created the show, is brilliant. He worked on Family Guy for a decade plus. And so, I mean, his comedic tools are very sharp, and there's so much opportunity when you put somebody who knows nothing about the human body in a position of authority in coming in and helping people. So all of his doctoring skills he's getting off of the internet, sometimes as he's doing it. So and he doesn't have great bedside manner. I don't want to give too many things
Yes,
away.
I know.
He's the worst doctor you could ever have. You just I feel like
But I love
there's
the
probably doctors out there.
That's why we love sort of hearing his internal life, and of course that keys into your other great talent with voiceover. But considering also what you did on Doom Patrol recently, that really angled into it because we're hearing sort of that narrator. Are we listening to a reliable narrator too? Could you talk about that, because that sort of paradox is really interesting in the show as well. Again, I don't want to give too much away, but still.
Yeah, no, I get to narrate it, or Harry Vanderspeigle narrates it, the alien, who's in disguise as Harry Vanderspeigle. It's a fun element in storytelling because he's usually saying what's going on in his head, and he's usually overconfident about what he's doing, or completely wrong about what he's doing. There's a kiss that happens with one of the characters, and he finds himself accidentally on a date, and he's in a situation where it's time for a kiss, and you hear in the narration his thoughts, which are, "You've seen this on television, you know what you're doing." And then he proceeds to give the worst kiss ever that you don't. I mean, what was he watching on television? That was his instruction there.
I mean, well, that's my last question, and I'll let you go, Alan, is the aspect, because it's about the themes of identity, not just with you, but the kid, which is like the conceit of the show also, who can see you, if I'm allowed to say that.
Right.
Could you talk about that and those themes of identity and how that places into the show, because it's a changing thing for all the different characters. But if you could talk about that, and then I'll let you go.
Right. Everybody, it sort of turns out, and there's this great characters throughout this show. Chris made a show that he wanted, almost like you could take the alien out of this town, and it's still an interesting group of people that you would like to watch and see them maybe solve this murder. Luckily for me, there is an alien, so there's a role for me to play. But everybody's wrapped up in their own things. Everybody has their own version of trying to just pass as human and deal with life on a daily basis, and how people see them, how they see themselves, who they wish they were, who they actually are. There's a bartender who was an Olympic. She was at the Olympics, and her life took a change, and now she's back in town. Everybody has this, with their relationships with their father, Asta's father, and what we think, how people see us, and how they actually see us. All of those are going on at once. And it's helpful to Harry, the alien, because people are wrapped up in their own things, so they don't maybe notice that this guy isn't just a little weird. He's actually an alien who is not doing a great job, but still trying to kill all of humanity.
Awesome. Well, Ellen, thank you very much. Let you go. I mean, yeah, it's perspective, perception, it's understanding, acceptance. There's so many different themes in it. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
I wish we had longer to talk, man.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. That's great. Thank you.
Cool. Have a great one.
Who are you?
I'm Harry Vanderspeigle. I'm a doctor. You don't have anything to worry about. I'm not an alien.
All right, look, that's one creepy son of a bitch, right?
It's okay for people to be a little bit different sometimes.
This is some bullshit.